Do you remember when Nicolas Maduro made fun of Donald Trump by dancing to "Not War, Yes Peace"? Well, it turns out that Trump saw that, and that's exactly why he decided to capture him as soon as possible. Subscribe, the news is completely real. Stay tuned, no crazy war, yes peace. The taunts and provocations of the dictator Nicolas Maduro that exhausted Trump's patience. Guys, we've been talking about it. It was pretty obvious and clear that this was going to happen, that this was going to occur. On this channel, we mentioned that Nicolas Maduro was making a huge mistake, a gigantic mistake, by doing those little dances and those provocations, those taunts, those jokes. Especially on national television, for example, I myself said that the right thing for Nicolas Maduro to do was when he would say, "No, Mr. Donald Trump, most excellent." Here you have a partner, an ally, a brother who is willing to cooperate. Nicolas Maduro made those kinds of comments on several occasions, and for me, those were the right comments. Because Nicolas Maduro couldn't do anything against Trump or the United States Army. Guys, please look at this. Both the CIA and the Pentagon got together and created an exact replica of Nicolas Maduro's house. Just look at this. They did more than 1,000 simulations in that fake house, practicing opening armored doors, timing every maneuver. Imagine, we can even see the following here. Nicolas Maduro and Silvia Flores are captured in a hallway before they tried to completely seal the bunker. They were heading straight to a bunker. But it turns out that the United States Army and the CIA were already aware that they were going straight to a bunker and were prepared to break into that bunker. It just would have taken them a little more time. Just imagine the level of craziness. While Nicolas Maduro was dancing, the United States had an exact replica of his house and they were rehearsing how to catch him, how to capture him in record time. Here's my theory. Nicolas Maduro has always been a joker, a clown. However, in the last year and a half, the guy took this to the next level, especially since he hired these people. That's a fact.
Trump's ultimatum against Venezuela lasted until yesterday.
That's right, comrades.
Maduro has come to an end.
Maduro is probably already exiled in Russia or Mexico. Subscribe. Nicolas Maduro watched Mikelo and other Chavista TikTokers, mistaking them for reality and started imitating them. And I'm absolutely sure that Nicolas Maduro copied the communication strategy from these clowns. But please, look at the following. The TikTok I showed you was from over a month ago. People were responding to this a month ago. I'm waiting for the 3 Doritos, then, good afternoon, and here, Maduro appears arrested. Hi, I'm bringing you back for the 3 Doritos then. Even here, it's the same. No, Trump does his thing. You won't believe it. Trump did his thing and captured Maduro. Even here, another person comments that he should keep singing. He won't see it coming. Literally, he didn't see it coming and he was even captured with his wife. Well, no, today he definitely didn't see it coming. We're still here, they tell us. When these guys start being sarcastic, it ends up coming true later on. And here someone replies, "My prediction came true." Just imagine, all this talk about nothing happening. Look at how Nicolas Maduro dances. Look at how he mocks Donald Trump. Look at this. According to Mikelo, the United States Marines were scared to death because they knew they were going to face the 4 or 5 million Venezuelan militiamen. Well, look, just for being big talkers, they ended up getting screwed. And do you know why? I think Nicolas Maduro let himself get caught up in all this. Oh, nothing's going to happen. And he would start dancing and laughing. Do you know why? I think this happened because besides being really dumb, because it has to be said, Nicolas Maduro is extremely dumb. Besides that, everything had gone well for him. He had an excessive amount of overconfidence. If not, please, let's listen to Silvia Flores.
No one challenges us. Whoever challenges us will find us, and with even more strength. So that's what we're seeing.
And she was right. Donald Trump challenged them and got them. He even took Silvia Flores to the United States. Unbelievable.
Can you believe Nicolas Maduro does these little dances and sings his own songs about not doubting, right, Bits? They were one of the reasons why Donald Trump decided to go capture him. Maduro's mockery and public challenges to the United States and Trump convinced Trump's team to capture Maduro. This was the last straw. The Trump administration got upset because they were being mocked and Maduro was making them look like it was all a sham. The United States kept warning Venezuela, which is why Donald Trump ordered the capture.
Of course, do you know why? It was pretty obvious that this would happen, that this would occur because, let's be honest, Nicolas Maduro had no power at all to compete against the United States. Nicolas Maduro was going to be completely destroyed from the very first moment. We've always said it, Nicolas Maduro didn't have a single chance, not one opportunity, against Donald Trump. And Donald Trump knew it, but he preferred to negotiate. That's why Donald Trump kept insisting for months. Nicolas Maduro, please go to Turkey with what you stole. Go live your golden retirement. Go to Qatar. They gave him several options and Nicolas Maduro never left, and on the contrary, he started to make fun of them. He started doing these dances and there was a problem, and that was that Donald Trump had gone too far. He had advanced too much. He had already deployed these ships in front of the Venezuelan coast. He had already invested a lot of money, and obviously he had to do something. He couldn't just sit back, because if Donald Trump allowed Chavismo to stay there, it was going to be very, very serious for him and for his administration. And as you know, Donald Trump's greatest strength is negotiation. He has been very good at negotiating with several countries around the world, and he's even been good at negotiating with tyrants, with people like Kim Jong-un. Or has he achieved peace between Middle Eastern countries that hate each other? Donald Trump has achieved historic peace treaties that not even the United Nations was able to achieve, and he did all this by imposing fear, respect. That's right. Donald Trump achieved these agreements with tyrants because he represented a threat to those tyrants. But what would happen if suddenly Donald Trump is completely ridiculed by a country like Venezuela, which is nothing, that had old men who couldn't even hold a weapon? What would this have meant for Donald Trump? The answer is simple. His enemies would have seen that Donald Trump is not as dangerous as he seems, that he is a dog that barks but doesn't bite. So what then? That would have been a serious setback for practically all of Donald Trump's negotiations. Because the vast majority of countries would have realized that Donald Trump, well, you could just ignore him and he wouldn't respond. That's why he was wrong. Nicolas Maduro, that was his biggest mistake. Nicolas Maduro led Donald Trump into a situation where if he didn't act, if he didn't do anything against Maduro, he would end up ridiculed, humiliated, and defeated. That's where Maduro made a mistake, especially because he didn't stand a chance against Donald Trump. But well, incredible. Who would have thought? Nicolas Maduro's little dances were his downfall. Now he'll spend the rest of his life in prison. Ladies and gentlemen, see you next time.